Hey, folks, it's Dave here in Studio B, and I'm playing a little bit of hockey tonight before I go to the hockey rink. I'm in a hockey mood, as you can tell. And so, of course, I'm scratching an itch right now. What happened was I was watching, just scrolling through Facebook, and they had a picture of the Flyers and the Atlanta Flames, and it was talking about the Atlanta Flames' first playoff games, first playoff series, first time in the playoffs. And it's like, well, now I have to play it. So I pulled out Final Score Hockey, which is a nice fast game, and we're going to play that here. So let me go overhead. We're just going to go overhead here tonight. Just going to watch me roll the dice and play here as we get in a handful of games. I don't know how much I'll get in before I have to go to work, but we're gonna do what we can. I'm gonna try to put some light on the subject here, and let's see if we can light this up a little bit. Sometimes I can brighten it up here on the camera without being too bright. All right, so our first series, again, I'm looking over here at the website, and it was Boston and Toronto, and Boston was the home team. So this is the East Division quarterfinals, I think it might be. Yeah. And John comes by. Thanks for coming by. And Dufferman comes by. All right, so how you play this game, in case you haven't played it, it's a quick play game. So you get, I'm going to have to show you this. I hate showing you this stuff, but this is the only way to do it. So each team, this is what you get if you order a season or whatever. So this is the 1973-74. You get the standings in alphabetical order, and each team has offense, defense, a pressure rating, home ice, and a normalization if you're playing other seasons. So you're really concentrating on the offense, defense, pressure, and home ice rating. So that's what you're going to get. You plug those in here, and like any other Downey game, Toronto's offense is N, as in Nancy. The Boston defense is -3, so you subtract 3 letters, so you're going to get worse. So it's going to be, what do you say? That was N. So 1, 2, 3. So there'll be a K. So as you can see, their adjusted rating is K. Boston's offense is Q. The Toronto defense is -2, so we're going to go P-O. So Boston's adjusted rating is O. Then you factor in the home ice, and this is where it really kind of gets confusing with a lot of people, including myself. The Boston is 1/2 for home ice. That means we're going to add 1, the first number you add, so that O bumps up 1 to a P. And the second number you subtract, okay? So we're going to subtract 2 from the K, which brings us down to an I. Now, it is kind of weird adding and subtracting letters, but keep in mind that A is the worst, Z is the best. It does go into double A, double B, and the whole bit, doublemint gum and all that. So you want to keep in mind that if you're subtracting, that means you're getting worse. And if you're adding, you're getting better. Is kind of how that works. There is a team here, the Golden Seals, who are -1 at home. So what they would do is they would actually go backwards 1 because they're terrible at home. And the Atlanta Flames, ironically, are -1 for home ice, which means they didn't have home ice. So when you subtract a -1, you're actually adding 1. So when they play the Flyers in round 1, we will be adding 1 to the Flyers. That's how bad the home ice was for the Atlanta Flames. Hopefully that explains it all. So anyway, we've come up with a final rating of I and P is what we got here for Boston and Toronto. The pressure rating is interesting. What I like about the pressure rating in this game is that if you're in a tie game or you're down by 1, you can go to the pressure chart, and that'll determine if the team has come back and managed to tie the game with an amazing play, the goalie pulled or whatever it is. So, so we do have that as well. All righty. So we're going to get going here. So we're going to start rolling. It's just one dice roll after you calculate everything. So Boston, I said, is a P, and which is good, and Toronto is an I, which is not very good. All right, so let's play here. This is game 1. All right, we'll roll for Toronto first. A 12 is terrible. You want to get higher. Higher is always better. So if I'm looking at column I and I roll a 12, that will be 1 goal. So Toronto scores 1 goal. And I'm going to put it onto the left here just in case I have to make any pressure roll adjustments. All right, so Boston, a P. All they need is a 13 or better. And they got a 12. They will get 1. Not a good game here. Okay, so we're going to go to the pressure roll, okay? Because each team has 1 goal. So it's 1-1 late in the game. So I'm going to roll for the pressure chart for Toronto first. and their pressure of E. So I need a 62 or better to convert. And nope, they do not convert. So now Boston has a chance to convert late before we go to overtime here. Boston, being a pressure A, only needs 51. And, they will just get it. Boston converts late in the game. They will take this one 2-1. So Boston will win game one thanks to the pressure roll. And that's the one of the things I really like about the final score game versus the ultra quick is the pressure roll. It's always kind of fun doing that. All right, so let's go to game two. This is Toronto at Boston. I don't need to recalculate these because nothing really changes. So the final rating will be I and P again. All right, let's see if Toronto can fare any better. NFL free agency is happening. Yeah, that'll happen with or without me tonight. The Patriots will probably still stink. And so will the Buccaneers. All right, so I got a 23 on I and a 23 on I. Well, that'll be 2 goals. That ain't too bad. All right, so Toronto's going to get 2 goals here in game 2. Let's see if Boston can put them away. And no, Boston's going to lose. They're going to get shut out, actually, at home. Wow, imagine that. I rolled 11 and I rolled a 12 for Boston. And so they will get no goals, and they will lose game 2. So Toronto sneaking out a victory here at the Garden. That was pretty terrible rolls for Boston. Okay, so now we go into Toronto, so it's going to be different. So again, the Boston offense is Q. The defense is -3. Toronto is N and -2. And so our adjustment, again, is Toronto K and Boston O. Now we look at the home ice for Toronto, and it's 1-0. So the home ice for Toronto is 1-0. So Boston will not change. Their final rating will remain O, and Toronto will bump up from a K to an L. All righty, so here we go now. And let's see how Boston does on the road. And 13. Wow, I rolled 11, 12, and 13, which is the worst rolls you can get in final score hockey. So, but that'll still be good for 2 goals, though. So Boston will come up with 2 goals. And the pressure, I don't really need to put in the pressure right now, but it's A and E if I really need to do pressure rolls. All right, let's see what Toronto can do with an L. Here we go, an L, and there's a big roll. There we go, and that's going to be good for 4. And if you're ahead by 2, there's no pressure roll. So Toronto takes it here, 4-2, and they lead the series now 2-1. So Boston rolling poorly, having a bad series. So again, we'll come over here to our final rating, which is O and L. We don't need to redo that. And it's not a series till someone wins on the road. We already did. All right, Boston on O. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. This freaking one has come up 5 times in a row for Boston. Wow. They'll get 2. Toronto with an L. When they get a 12. Are you kidding me? And they'll have 1. So, here's what's going to happen now. Boston's up 2-1. Toronto goes to the pressure roll. They need to score, or they need to convert the pressure roll. If they do, Boston has a chance to make a great save with their pressure roll. All right, goaltenders out, 2-1. Boston trying to salvage some bad hockey. Yeah, I might have to get some new dice. You're exactly right. Where is my phone? I can't find my phone anywhere. Oh, there it is. I don't want to lose my phone in case they cancel hockey tonight, which would be nice, which I doubt. All right, so pressure roll. Toronto on the pressure roll, and we said that their pressure was E. So they need a 62 or better, and they get it. Are you kidding me? So Toronto threatens to tie this game. Boston needs to come up with a great save. If they don't come up with a great save, we go to overtime. So Boston needs a pressure save. 51. Nope. And Toronto has tied the game to force overtime. So Toronto scores late. We're in overtime. So now I need to get my overtime charts. Wowzers. I can't believe the what's going on here with the roles for Toronto and Boston. This is upset in the making. Upset special. All righty. Studio CJ Hockey. Yes, it is. All right, so we're in overtime. The score is 2-2 here in Game 4. Toronto wins. They take a 3-1 series lead. So it's going to be 0 for Boston in overtime. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We start with the home team, right? Hang on a sec here. I'm pretty sure that I read you start with a home team. All right? I knew I was going to forget this. All right, overtime games. Take the final rating for each team. We start with a home team. If it's an X, the home team scored a goal and it's over. If it's blank, you go to the visitors. So the home team has the advantage and they start first. So we start with Toronto. We have the overtime chart. It's a little different than the regular chart. So they're L. So we need to get 44 or better, Toronto, to win in overtime. And no, it's a 25. So now Boston has a chance. Boston in overtime needs a 41. In overtime, they will win. The Bruins will get the overtime win 3-2 here at Maple Leaf Gardens, and the series is now tied at 2 games apiece. Yikes. So the dice may be starting to go the way of the Bruins. That was nuts. That really was crazy here. Pressure charts and rolls. Who would have thought a final score game could be this fun, right? All right, so we go back to the Boston Garden. And let me get these out of the way here. So we're back at Boston Garden right now. And this is Game 5. We've already guaranteed ourselves 6 games, right? So it figures as soon as I decide to start something up before I go to work, our first series is going to go 6 or 7 games, right? That's how it goes. All righty, so here we go. What's the opposite of a sugar rush? I don't know. I don't know what that would be. Heartache? All right, so here we go. So we're back at home. So again, it's going to be I and P. So we don't have to calculate this all again. I and P. Here we go. So column I. 51 is good. 51 is very good. That's going to be 3 goals for the Maple Leafs. So they will get 3. Boston off of column P. They need a nice big roll. They finally get a big roll, and holy cow, Boston is going to put up 7. And Boston will take this game, and they will take a 3-2 series lead back to Toronto. Holy cow. And so now we're going to go back to Maple Leaf Garden. All righty, and so on the road here, it's O and L. O and L. Here we go. So Boston rolling off of O. 53. They're finally getting some better rolls. That'll be 5 goals. So Boston put 5 up here. Toronto off of column L. They need a nice big roll here. Ooh, no, they're not going to get it. 24 will be 2. And Boston comes back to win the series, taking 3 in a row after falling behind 2-1. So they will win the series 4-2. So Boston wins the series 4-2. Okay, so up next on my list here is going to be the Rangers and the Canadiens. And this is one the Rangers actually beat the Canadiens in 73-74, 4-2. So we're going to start with New York and Montreal. So let's get our ratings out and let's do some calculating, shall we? So the Rangers will be O, and their defense is O. So 0, defense is 0, and the pressure rating is D. Montreal, their offense is also O. Their defense is -1, and their pressure is a C. And the home ice for Montreal is 2-1. So that's basically a 3-goal swing, if you will. So 0 minus 1 will adjust to N. 0 with 0 will stay there. We're going to add 2 to get that up to Q. And we're going to subtract 1 to M. So it's going to be M versus Q here on the road is what I have right now. And hopefully I'm correct. All right, so here we go. Hopefully my math is right. So 0 minus 1 is N. Minus 1 is M. And then we have 0, O, P. Oh, hang on a sec. O, OPQ. Yeah, OPQ. Okay. So M, column M right now for the Rangers on the road at the Forum. Here we go. 26. Yeah, not really that good. And that'll be 3 goals. So the Rangers will get 3. Montreal off of column Q, which is really good. And, a 14 is 3. So we are tied. So what we're going to do is pressure rolls for each team. So let me get my pressure chart out here. Here we go. And so the Rangers being pressure D. All right, Montreal's pressure C, right? Rangers pressure D. Montreal pressure C. Yep. All right, so a D, I need a 61 or better. Nope, I don't. So Montreal has a chance to score late. 55 or better. Yes, and Montreal will get a late goal here at the Forum on the power play, of course. And Montreal will take game 1 from the Rangers. Alrighty, so we have M and Q. We don't have to worry about that. So let's roll again. Column M for the Rangers. 56 is pretty good. And that'll be 5 goals. So the Rangers pick up 5 goals here at the Forum. Montreal, 64. They should win this one here. Oh, my gosh. They put 8 goals up. A high-scoring 8-5 win. Montreal now. So it was 1-0. Now it's 2-0. 0, if you will. All right, so now let's calculate the games at New York. So New York is 0-0, we said. Montreal is 0 minus 1. So our adjustment, again, is 0 and N. Now the home ice for the Rangers, it should be pretty good, actually. 1 and 1. So it's a two-letter swing. So we'll bring them down to N, and their N will actually go to O. So that's what it is in New York, right? 0 minus 1 is N. And 0 minus 1 plus 1 is back to 0. O. Okay, here we go. Alrighty. Dun-da-da. Montreal, column N. And 66. They will put up 9 goals, and they're going to win this one here. There's no way the Rangers can catch them. I would need to roll a 66. And I got a 62. Oh, man. That'll be 6. 9-6. Montreal wins it, and they're cruising over the Rangers here in this series. And so what did we say? The final result was N and O. Here we go. Game 4. Montreal looking for the sweep. Column N. 16 this time. 2. That opens the door for the Rangers. Column 0. 22. And that'll be 3. So Montreal needs a pressure roll. If they get the pressure roll, they can tie the game, and then New York has a chance to make the save. So they said they're a pressure C, so 55 or better, and nope. And the Rangers will salvage a game here in the series, and it's now 3-1. So we go back to Montreal for game 5. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we said it was M and Q. That's the great thing about when you're doing playoff series with this game. You only have to calculate it once, and you're done. Okay. M. Let's see if the Rangers can pull up something here. No, that doesn't look very good. That'll be 3 goals. They're going to need a really bad roll for Montreal off of column Q to stay in this one. Nope. That should be plenty. That's a 35. That'll be 4 goals. So Rangers do have a chance here with a pressure roll. Their pressure is D. We need a 61 or better to try to salvage the game with the net empty. Nope, that's going to do it. And the final score is Montreal 4, the Rangers 3, and they take this one rather easily, 4-1. So Montreal, 4-1. So now we're going to move to the West and take a look at some games on the West side. And our first series is going to be the Flyers and the Flames. This is the one that I wanted to play. It's the one I saw today on on Facebook. I says, I need to play this. So Atlanta, Philadelphia, game 1. So Atlanta Flames, offense is H, defense -1, and the pressure, if I need it, is E. Philadelphia Flyers, offense is M, defense is -6. Oh my gosh. Pressure of B, and it's a 1-2 home ice. So, how does this shake out? Yikes. Well, H -6. Actually, we're going to, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's a B. They go all the way down to a B, which is horrible. That's like Cleveland Spiders. M -1 is L, but we'll bring that back to an M because of the +1 for home. And if we subtract 2, well, it's going to go down to an A. We can't get any less than that. So this is going to be a sweep. There is no way. I don't think there's any way that they can win this one whatsoever. It's going to need to be some crazy rolls. All right, so let's start with column A. The most they can get is 3 goals with a 65 or 66. 45 is respectable, but that's still only good for 1 goal. So the Flames pick up 1 goal. And the Flyers, off of column M, 16 is 2. Well, this is interesting. So the Flyers lead 2-1. The Flames with a pressure roll of E. I need a 62 or better to try to force this game. Goaltender out. Flames pressing. And no, time will run out on the Flames. And the Flyers will take this one. And they lead the series 1-0 as Dave Little comes by. And John and Sports Time Machine. Yeah, Broad Street Bullies here. I love these quick play games. You can really kind of bang them out pretty quick. So A and M will be our ratings. So column A, 26 is absolutely nothing. So we got a shutout brewing here. And Philadelphia, a 13 is 1. So they're struggling with the Flames. Another pressure roll here for the Flames. So again, a 62 or better is what the Flames need. And nope, they don't get it. So they will lose again. But it's a close game, 1-0. And the Flyers lead the series 2-0. All right, so let's go on the road to Atlanta. Let's get down to the Omni. So again, Philadelphia M and -6. And H -1. So again, that's going to bring our adjusted rating to B. And they will be L. And now for Atlanta home ice, that's the one that was weird. So Atlanta's home ice is actually 0 -1. So they're going to stay the same. So their adjustment will still be B. And the Flyers will actually gain 1 because of the minus. That means that, so you subtract -1, so you add 1. So that'll bring them back to M. So M and B is what we have. Not looking good here. All right, so column M for the Flyers, 33 is going to be 3 goals. So they will put up 3 here at the Omni. And column B, they're going to need a nice high 60s roll, and they don't get it. They get a 32. That'll be 1. And so that'll be an easy win for Philadelphia here, and they take a 3-0 series lead against the poor Flames. So again, our ratings will be M and B. All right, Flyers here in Game 4. 26 is going to be good for 3 goals again. They're actually doing better on the road than they did at home. Must be the pressure being at home. 52 is fair, and that'll get them 2. So now the Flames, again, with one last chance on the pressure. Can they get it done with a goaltender out? They're going to need 62 or better. And, close with the 54, but time runs out. And Philadelphia with the 4-0 sweep. So Philly advances. So our last series is Chicago and the Kings. Chicago having the home ice advantage here against the... I didn't know you could do that. Interesting. All right, so Chicago and the Kings. So we can come over here, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to go L.A., at Chicago. Let's take a look at our things here. So for the Kings, Los Angeles Kings, they are J -2. And their pressure rating is E. And the Blackhawks are M -6. They're also a -6. Their defense and goaltending is just fantastic. And their pressure is a C as well. The home ice for the Blackhawks is 1-1. I thought it might be more at that Chicago Stadium, but it is not. All righty. Having a little bit of my hot cocoa, which is already cold. Gary comes by. Hi, Gary. Just playing some game-winning drive. Not game-winning drive. Final score hockey from Downey tonight. Just wanted to have a little bit of fun here tonight before I went to work. And that's what we're going to try to do here. Alrighty. So let me slide that up so we can have a... How about that? There we go. So we can get all 4 games in. So this is L.A. So we're going to have, what, Philadelphia and Montreal, right? No, Boston. Oh, who advanced here? So we got Boston, Montreal. Oh, is this the West? Hang on a sec. Okay, yeah, so Boston, Montreal, and then Philadelphia plays the winner of this series. Okay, I wasn't sure how it went back then. That was a long time ago. Miroslav comes by. Thanks for coming by, bud. All right, so let's get going here. So we don't have our final ratings yet. So we have J -6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's going to be a D. And M -2 will be K. Now we add 1 to the K, that brings us up to L, and we subtract 1 from the D, that brings us down to C. So LA is only a C, and it's going to be an L for Chicago. All right, so here we go. Final rating of C. Let's roll the dice here. That's not bad. 43 on a C. That'd be good for a couple of goals. So LA chips in a couple of goals, and Chicago with L. Oh, that should be really good. That'll be good for... Oh, that's good for 3, though. All right, so it's 3-2. All right? So it's 3-2, and so a pressure check here now. So LA, we said, was pressure of E. So they are going to need a really good roll. They're going to need 62 or better. 62 or better. Oh, they do! So LA, they tie the game. However, Chicago can make a great save. So LA sets it up, moving the puck around with the net empty, having a chance to tie it. Can they make the save? So pressure, let's make that sure that's a C. It is. So it's a pressure of C. All right. So Tony Esposito needs a 55 or better to make this save. And he does not. So we go to overtime. So the Kings have scored here to make it 3-3. And we go to overtime. So where's my overtime chart? Here we are. The overtime chart. There we go. So we have L, and we have C. All right, L rolls first. So the Chicago rolls first. We need a 44 or better to win this. All right, and no, they don't. So the Kings have a chance to steal. The Kings have a chance to steal. So it sounds like Family Feud, doesn't it? A D. So they're gonna need a big roll here. They're gonna need 56. And 55. So close. Oh, the Kings almost stole this one. Back to 44. Nope. Kings another chance. Again, we need 56. Nope, they can't get it. We go back now to the Kings with a 44. And nope. The Kings again, 56. They get it. The Kings will score in overtime. And the Kings will steal this one here, 4-3. So the Kings lead the series 1-0 after a triple overtime win against the Chicago Blackhawks. So we're back to C and L. Let's go to our game 2 here, as we have a good one here. And Gary says he has the 2014-15 season in this, and you might have to break it out. It's fun. I don't know if I'll get it all done tonight before I got to leave here, but I'll get a lot of it done. If I have to, I'll finish it when I get home. But I just saw the Flames and the Flyers today in the playoff series. I said, now I got to play the playoffs. All right, so let's continue on here. L.A. with a C. Ooh, 55 is pretty good. And that'll be good for 2 goals. And Chicago on column L. Ooh, a 15 is good for 2. So we're going to check pressure rolls again. All righty. Let's go back to the pressure chart. Let's see if L.A. can put one in here late in the third period. Pressure of E. So again, 62. Nope, they can't put it in late. Chicago, pressure of C, 55. Yes, Chicago gets a late goal here to tie the series at 1 game apiece. So now let's go to the West Coast, and we'll get our ratings. So again, J and -2 for the Kings, and M and -6 for the Hawks. So that really doesn't change. So that'll stay. M -2 is K. Yeah. And the D, right? J, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, D. And now for LA at home, they're 1 and 0. So that K will stay at K, and that D will bump up to E. So that's where we stand here in LA. And you have the final score soccer too. I don't have that one. I got the football and the hockey. And I think I have the was it Ultra Quick Baseball? I think I have one of the baseball games. All right, so game 3. So we got a K and an E. So we'll roll for Chicago first. A K, 54. K is pretty good. That'll be good for 4 goals. So they put up 4 goals here at the Forum. Column E, can they respond? Yeah, they do respond. A 53 is good for 3 goals. So 4-3. Kings pull the goalie. They got to see if they can get here. The pressure, there's E. So I need a 62 or better. Kings net empty, 62 or better. No. And they will fall here. Chicago will take this one, and they'll take a 2-1 series lead. All right, back in L.A. for game 4. K and E. So here we go. Chicago trying to really get a stranglehold on the series. A 52K is not too bad. That'll be 4 goals, actually. So they will score 4 again. So they've scored 3, 3, 4, and 4. Now the Kings need something big here. They need a big roll, and they get it. And they will get 3. So again, the Kings need a pressure roll to tie this game late. They will need a 62 or better, and they don't get it. And so Chicago will take this one. They will lead 3-1. So now we'll come over here for game 5. We'll slide over here in our chart. And so it's going to be L.A. going into Chicago. And on here we said C and L. And here we go. So C for Chicago. C is for Cookie. And a 24 is just 1. That might not be good enough here. Chicago trying to put this away. Column L, that'll be plenty. That'll be 3. And a 2-goal lead doesn't apply the pressure roll. So Chicago wins this, and they will take the series 4-1. So Chicago 4-1. So now, right, we can probably start right here. So let's do our, who's it going to be here? Wow, this is interesting here. So they swapped over here. So Boston plays Chicago, and the Flyers play Montreal. That is really weird, but that's how they did it. So Boston, the top seed, plays the lower West, and I don't know. I guess that's just how it is. So Boston plays Chicago, who had 105 points. So maybe it's by points at this point. So, yeah, all right, so that's how we're going to do it. So Right? Boston won, right? Yeah. So Boston will take on Chicago, and Philadelphia will take on Montreal. So Chicago comes into Boston, and this will be game 1. Alrighty. Interesting how they do it. Yeah, Ultra Quick Hockey has its statistics. Yeah, you're exactly correct. All right, so let's do this again here. So Boston is Q minus 3. Q minus 3. Chicago is M minus 6. And so it's going to be M minus 3 is 1, 2, 3. It'd be a J. Q minus 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That'll be a K. Home ice for Boston is 1, 2. So that K will bump up to an L. And the J will drop down to an H. So here in Boston, it's H versus L. So here we go. Chicago rolls first. 64. Well, that's pretty darn good. And that'll be good for 5 goals. Wowzers. Boston on K. They need to come up with something big here. And they get a 46. And that's only good for 3. So Chicago takes this one 5-3 here in Boston. Boston's been getting terrible rolls. They somehow got by Toronto, but that was some terrible rolls. Column H, 54 again. Wow. 4 more goals. They are racking them up on Boston. Who's the goalie? Is it Gilbert? Is that the goalie? And Boston back to rolling the ones. And on column L, a 15 to be good for 2. And they will lose both at home. Chicago taking them 5-3 and 4-2. So Boston goes on the road now. So Boston is Q minus 3, M minus 6. So the adjustment for Boston is K. Chicago is J. And now Chicago ice is 1-1. So Boston will drop down to a J, and Chicago will be the K. Okay, so here we go. So Boston, row J. Row J. And it's another 15. Perfect. That's what we need. Oh, that's a big game, bad game. Okay, let's take out the big game, bad game chart. Okay. Let's see here. So now I need to roll on the big game, bad game chart. So let me just roll the die. And a 43 says, minus 3. Woo! So they had a bad game. It's a bad game for Boston. So minus 3. So they're in J, so they're going to go down to G. So we're rolling off of column G. And it's decent off of column G. 55 is going to get them 3. So after all that, they do come out with 3. Column K, 32, is going to be good for 3. So we're tied here, 3-3. Let's check the pressure for each team. So Boston was pressure A, and Chicago was pressure C. So on the road, Boston has the first crack at it in regulation. Not to win it, but to possibly score. 51 or better. No, they don't. Chicago late. 55 or better. No. So we're going to go to overtime. So game 3 here goes to overtime in Chicago. And I don't know if I'll get this done before I got to leave in about 20 minutes, but we'll try. All right, so let's go to overtime. So Chicago rolls first in my overtime chart, which is right here. And for overtime for K, we need a 45. 45, yes, and Chicago wins here in overtime 4-3. And Chicago will take a stranglehold 3-0 lead. And just like that, Boston is headed out. Who went all the way that 73-74? That was Philly-Boston. Well, Boston won't have to worry about facing the Flyers. All right, so here's game 4. J and K. Can the ones continue to come up here for Boston? No, a 65. They'll get 6 goals here. And column K. Can the Blackhawks respond? No, they'll get 3. So Boston will hang on, and they'll at least get a game back at home, Game 5. So here's Game 5. And now in Boston, it was H and L. So Boston still has the advantage. But all right, column H, Chicago trying to put them away. A 26 on H is going to be good for 2 goals. Is that going to be enough here? Boston wants some revenge. And a 34L is good for 3. So they have the lead. Chicago, pressure time. Needs a 55. They get it. Chicago sets up for the game-tying goal. Can the Bruins, with pressure A, make the save? 51 or better. No, not even close. And Chicago ties it, and we go to overtime. So we're in overtime, another overtime game. And so Boston's going to get the first roll here in overtime. And Boston will need 44 to win it. 44 to win it, and nope, they don't win it. Can Chicago put them away? A 52. A 52 wins the series for the Blackhawks. And nope, 36. So back to Boston. Overtime. Column L. 44. Nope. There's the ones again. They love the ones. Love the ones. And a 52 to win the series. Oh, 46. So close. All right, so we said 44 for Boston. Yeah, and they get it. Boston will win it in triple overtime. 4-3 to extend the series. One more game back to Chicago. So Boston on the road in Chicago. And we said that it was J and K. All right, here it is. Game 6 in Chicago. J for Boston. 24 is 2 goals. All right, Chicago trying to put them away. 15, though, that's 2 as well. All right, pressure roll time. Boston with a 51, chance to take the lead. Yes, they do. So Boston comes up with the goal. Chicago needs to counter. They need a 55 or better, and they get it. So we go to overtime. So the teams each cancel each other out, and we're going to overtime. So Chicago will go first. A 45 wins the series. So again, Chicago with a chance. A 45, and yes, they will get the 66. And Chicago takes it in overtime, and they will win the series 4-2. So Chicago advances to the finals, and they will take on the winner of the Montreal-Philadelphia series. And that will be in Philadelphia. Interesting. Okay. So let's take a look here. All right. Montreal, Philadelphia. The winner will play the Blackhawks. And that might come later on tonight. So we said that was in Philadelphia. So Montreal goes to Philadelphia here for game 1. And this is the semifinals. So Montreal, we said, was O-1 with a pressure rating of C. And the Flyers were M-6 and a pressure rating of B. And home ice was 1-2. So where does this put us? So O-6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That brings us to an I. M-1 is L. We'll bump that back up to an M. And I drops down to a G. So we have G and M. All right, Montreal, tough sledding here on the road with a G, but a 63. Oh, gee, that's going to be good for 4 goals. So Montreal with 4 here. The Flyers off of column M. And a 15 is good for 2, and Montreal will take game 1, and they lead the series one game to absolutely nothing. All right, so we're back to G and M. Here we go. All righty. And a 66 for Montreal. Holy cow, I gotta lift up my sheet here. 5 goals. That's the best they can do. Can they sweep the games here in Philadelphia? And M. Oh, they shut them out. 5-0. Montreal takes both back to the Forum. Holy cow. So Montreal is a O -1, M -6. So Montreal adjustment is an I. They're an L. And now home ice at the Forum. This should be pretty good. Yeah, 2-1. So they will get up to a K. And they'll drop down. Oh, there'll be a K as well. So both teams are K right now, if I did my math correctly. And so Philly will roll first. So it's kind of whoever gets the big dice roll here. Oh, 56 is really good. That's going to be 4 goals. So the Flyers cash in 4 times here at the Forum. And Montreal, nope, they're going to lose this one here. They will only pick up 1. So Philadelphia responds here, and they will make it a 2-1 series now. That nice high roll. All right, so they're both K here in Montreal. Flyers with another big roll. 46K is 3 goals. Montreal, 22. That is not good. That's going to be 2, so Montreal needs a pressure roll here. Pressure roll of C. Where's my pressure chart? Here it is. So they need a 55 or better to try to tie this game up, and they don't get it. So each team winning on the road as it goes back to Philadelphia, 2-2. So Montreal had the chance to do some damage here, and the Flyers take them both 4-1 and 3-2. Am I feeling any better? I'm still very sad. I'm still very sad about my buddy. We were talking about him today, how we miss him so much. But, we're just getting by, still busy with work. I'm working tonight, but I'm trying to have some fun here if I go to work. All right, column G. 16 is terrible. It's just 1 goal, so the Flyers, after dropping down 2-0 at home, might come back and win the next 4. Oh, yeah. 56M, and that's a 5. So a 5-1 win, and the Flyers now lead it 3-2, going back to Montreal where they can stuff it in the face of the Canadiens. All right, so K and K, right? Sorry about that. Just trying to move these things up, and I can't pick them up off the mat. There we go. K and K, Philadelphia, 54K is going to be 4 goals. Will they really take 4 games in a row here? Montreal in some trouble, and 24 is good for 2, and they will lose. Philadelphia with 4 wins in a row, and Philadelphia wins this series 4-2. So our finals, we can punch those out real quick. We said it was Philadelphia, and who was the was it Chicago that beat Boston? I forget now. Yeah, Chicago 4-2. So Philadelphia, Chicago is going to be, and so it's going to be in Philadelphia. All right, so it's the top 2 teams in the West. Rigged. Yeah. All right, so it's going to be Chicago. Let me bring that down over here. And Philadelphia. So let's see what we have for ratings here. Oh, they're both -6, though. They're both M -6. That's going to be interesting. So they're pretty even. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they're both going to have adjustments of G before the home ice. So Philadelphia home ice is 1, 2. So that'll bump them up to an H, and that'll drop them down to an E. So that's kind of what it's going to look like here. All right, so here we go. So E and H. So Chicago, this is the Cup Finals. Trying to get it done for work, and it's a terrible game. 15 is good for just 1 goal. The Flyers, column H, 32, not much better, and that'll get them 2. So the pressure here for Chicago is a C, and the Flyers' pressure is a B. So let's see. I need a pressure roll here. And I need that pressure roll to be 55 for Chicago to try to tie this one up. And nope. Flyers take game 1 of the Cup Finals 2-1. All right. And this is 73-74, by the way. All right. So we have the same ratings, E and H. And Chicago, not bad. E at 54 is pretty good. That'll be good for 3. So they'll get 3 goals here at the Spectrum. Flyers, 63, though. And that'll be good for 4. So, again, that's going to put the kibosh on Chicago. A 55. They need, 51. And they will lose by a goal again. And the Flyers take both at home. And they'll go on the road to Chicago with a 2-0 lead. All right, so we know that they're both M-6, and they're both G. And the Chicago home ice is 1-1. So that'll bump Chicago up to H, and that'll bump the Flyers down to F. So small advantage here for the home team. Okay, here we go. So this is game 3. Game 3. Flyers. Ooh, F15 is not very good. That'll just be 1 goal. And Chicago, 21H. That might be good for 2 goals. It is. It's 2 goals. So the Flyers, they need a pressure roll of 53. And they get it. But Chicago has a chance to make the save. So they need a 55. Can Tony Esposito roll a 55 and make this save? Yes, he does. So the Flyers thought they scored, but Esposito makes the save. And we have a 2-1 series now as we go to game 4. All righty, so F and H are the ratings again. And looking at the clock, I'm going to be late for work. Oh, 12F is not good. That's going to be absolutely nothing. So the Flyers don't come up with anything. Chicago, H, 63. That's going to be an easy win. That'll be a 4-0 win. And, of course, it is. And so we're going to go now to Game 5 back in Philadelphia. All righty, so here we go. So 2-1 wins, 4-3 wins, 2-1. This is our biggest blowout here, is that. So on the road, E and H. E and H. Here we go. And Chicago, 26E. It's going to be just 1. Oh, 2. They'll squeak out 2 goals. That might be enough to force a pressure roll. Column H. 13 is 1. So Philadelphia, trailing late, they need the pressure goal here. They need a 53. They need a 53. No, they don't get it. And Chicago hangs on, and they lead the series 3-2. And the Blackhawks, here in Game 6, have a chance to win the 73-74 Stanley Cup. Can I say that without getting in trouble? All right, so back in Chicago, it was F and H. Here we go. Column F, the Flyers trying to survive. 41 is good. It's good for 2. That keeps them in the game. Chicago, it's Game 6 is blacked out in Chicago. So you're listening on the radio here. Column H for the Stanley Cup. The big roll. Yes, there it is. The upper roll. And that'll get them 5 goals. And Chicago will take it 4-2 here in Game 6 with a 5-2 win. Just in time for me to head out the door to work. So that was fun. So that's a little bit of final score hockey. So what I do, bang that out in about a half hour or so. I played the whole 73-74 playoffs. Yep, interesting. So it came down to Philadelphia, Chicago, 2 teams in the West. And Chicago, after falling behind 2-0, won 4 in a row. They won both in Chicago, then Game 5 in Philly, and then one here home. So that is that. Game-winning drive. Game-winning drive. The final score hockey from Downey. It's a fun little fast play game. and you can play it pretty quick. Not a ton of upsets, I will say. There's not a ton of upsets in this. It's pretty much the better team will usually win. But again, we had Chicago bounce out Boston. I don't know if that was an upset or not, but Boston rolled poorly. They chose poorly, and they lost. So that is that. Oh, incidentally, before I go here, on Facebook, I'm part of a WHA group on Facebook, a million groups I'm part of, and they were talking about Joe Junkin. Somebody had a picture of Joe Junkin, the goalie, when he played for I want to say it was the New Jersey Knights or something like that. And so I wrote in, I says, I played a game of Apple hockey with Joe Junkin in net for the San Diego Mariners. So I put the link to the game. So you can see how Joe Junkin did on my table. So I thought that was kind of fun that I saw Joe Junkin. There's been a lot of Joe Junkin talk here on the channel, and with me and Junkin. I was talking to Al, a little Al Red Sox fan, about it too, because Junkin played with the Bruins a little bit too, very little, but he was there. So anyway, I'm Dave. I'm off to work. I got to go get all bundled up so I can get dressed here and stay warm. And I want to thank everybody for coming by, and we'll talk to you all later. Bye bye.